Oh, what is the Epskis, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the GXHockeyCast. We're on episode 115, the fucking all-star, Danny Heatley, of my little hockey show where once a week I just go through all of the major what's happenings in the news in the NHL, mainly focusing in on the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Calgary Flames, because those are my two favorite teams, but I'll be talking about all 32 teams on this podcast. What we got on tap today? Well, we'll be continuing the overviews, going through all of the NHL teams, seeing where they are and where they're going, predictions, all that great stuff. But we got some trades to talk about. We got a couple of trades that went down over the last week or so, one bigger than the other one. So let's start with the smaller of the two. The Winnipeg Jets trade away Rutger McGroarty to the Pittsburgh Penguins for Brayden Yager. So this is basically a swapping of first-round prospects. Neither of these players have played NHL games yet, but Rutger McGroarty, he asked for a trade out of Winnipeg, so Winnipeg made it happen. They bring in Brayden Yager, a young center from Pittsburgh, who I actually was kind of hoping would, maybe make the lineup, do something over there in Pittsburgh this year, because they could really use a young up-and-coming center to eventually take over for Malkin and Crosby. But Rutger McGroarty, he's, now, according from what I've heard, it sounds like McGroarty has a higher ceiling, maybe more potential than Brayden Yager does, which kind of makes it interesting that it's just kind of a one-for-one swap, no extra picks, no nothing else, nothing extra, just a one-for-one. It's way too early at this point to see or to say who has won this trade. People would say right now it's Pittsburgh, but we'll have to just wait and see. But it's kind of interesting to see a swapping of young prospects here. We're seeing this more where younger players are just not willing to play with certain teams. Now, I don't know what McGroarty's problem was with Winnipeg. Was it just Winnipeg in general, the city? It's cold. I don't know. Maybe he wants to be closer to home. Didn't really hear any of those sort of details, but that is a trade that went down. Now, the big one that went down is Yaroslav Askarov is on his way to San Jose. So Askarov is probably at this point the most highly touted goaltending prospect in the systems right now in all of hockey, you would say. This guy, he's only played, I think he got into one NHL game last season with Nashville. He had like a .940 save percentage. Everything looks good. He's been playing with Milwaukee in the AHL, and he's been killing it down there. And basically he made it known to Nashville that I'm not reporting to the AHL squad. I want to be an NHL goaltender. I'm freaking ready. And Nashville's like, we just signed UC Saros to a big extension. Like, at best, we can give you a backup role here. So it didn't look like the future was going to be Askarov in Nashville. They are pretty set in, like, they kind of shifted completely. Nashville, a couple of seasons ago, looked like they could be on their way to a rebuild potentially, and now look at them. They've set themselves up to be potential contenders right here. So, what is the trade in total? So, going to San Jose, they get Yaroslav Askarov, Nolan Burke, and a third-round pick in 25. I don't know who Nolan Burke is, but obviously the big piece here is Askarov. And Askarov could potentially be the starting goaltender for San Jose as early as this upcoming season. They just extended him, Askarov, to another 2 years, so he's locked in for a couple of seasons with San Jose. He is most certainly going to be getting into some games, but we know where San Jose is. They are a bottom team right now. They're right in the middle of their rebuild, and I mean, yeah, it's going to be awesome to have this 20-something-year-old phenom goaltender in their system. That's great. But it may be a little too early. They may use him as like a 1A, 1B situation, not give him the full reins, because the team's not going to be very good. The defense isn't very good in front of them. I mean, it's probably not going to be a very awesome season for Askarov, but it's definitely going to be like, all right, you wanted it, here you go. Here, you want to be an NHL goaltender? Well, now you're the guy on one of the worst teams. So there's going to be a lot of eyes on Askarov this season. Don't expect him to drag San Jose into a playoff spot or anything like that. I don't think he's capable of doing that all by himself. So on the Nashville side, they get David Edstrom, Magnus Corona, who is a younger goaltender, not as young, and a first-round pick in 25. So Not very flashy, not amazing, but that's kind of what was expected when you trade a goaltender. You don't usually get a lot. Even for a goaltender with as much potential and hype as Askarov, you're getting a prospect, a couple of prospects, and a pick. I mean, you could do worse, you could do better. I think it's a tough spot for Nashville, man. You're probably trading away a top goaltender. Who knows how good Askarov is going to be, and that could be, something that bites Nashville in the ass for many, 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 many years. And it's over in San Jose, a team that's, I don't know if they're in their conference or anything, but still, that's another team in the West. You're going to see a lot of Askarov, and hopefully that's not going to come back and kick them right in the ass. But they bring in a first-round pick. Who knows what that could be? It doesn't say if it is San Jose's pick. If it is, I do believe they have protection on it and all that great stuff. But yeah, man, it's not like the biggest, most amazing, this is going to change everything for Nashville. They basically just got it done. Like, we don't want to have this guy being an issue throughout the season, making all this drama and extra reports coming around. And right now the focus should be Nashville, what they did in the offseason, bringing in Stamkos, bringing in Shea, bringing in, who's the other big guy that they brought in? They brought in other people. So that's kind of what the storyline I would imagine Nashville wants to have around them, instead of a pissed off young goaltender that doesn't want to report to their AHL team. So they got ahead of that. They got away from any potential drama that might bring. And like I said, San Jose did extend Askarov. It's $2 million for the next 2 seasons, $4 million total. He's 22 years old, so yeah, take him till he's 24, 25-ish, and that could be, we'll see where that goes, man. It could be a massive deal for Askarov, or it may not work out. You never know. Goaltenders are so very hard to judge. So Eric Portillo also signed a extension with the LA Kings. 23-year-old goaltender. There is some hype around him possibly being a starter, backup maybe for the Kings in the future. So 3-year extension for him at 23 years old. I mean, shit, if he does end up becoming a backup goaltender in the next year or something, that's a bargain right there. Your backup goaltender making league minimum. Yeah, that's pretty good. Rutger McGroarty signed his entry-level deal with the Pittsburgh Penguins because he wouldn't sign with Winnipeg. Alex Steeves signs with Toronto for 1 year league minimum right there. Quentin Burns signs his entry-level deal with St. Louis. And that is all that's really been going on with signings and trades. So we'll touch on a little piece of news here with the NHL video game. The cover athletes are actually going to be 3 people. It's the Hughes brothers. So Quinn Hughes, Jack Hughes, and Luke. I think Luke. So they're going to have 3 brothers on the cover. I'm guessing that's the first time that's ever happened. I don't recall the Sedins ever being on the cover. And I will say, lately people have been just like, the last couple of covers for the NHL games have been different. I think, I don't remember if it was last year, but the one with Trevor Zegras and, what was it? I forget what her name was. It might have been Darnell Nurse's sister. Sarah Nurse, I think, might have been on the cover, but they had a female athlete on the cover, which was really cool. It's just that, I don't know, that luster for cover athletes on the video games, that's definitely gone now. It used to be a really big deal, man. Oh, shit. Fucking, I don't know who was on, Claude Giroux was on the cover of 2013. That was, a big deal. He was killing it back then in 2013, and yeah, now it's just who's on the cover? Oh, okay, whatever. It's not really a conversation point anymore, but I guess it's kind of cool that 3 brothers are on there. And Luke Hughes, generally you have the top stars on your cover. And I'm not saying that, Luke Hughes sucks or anything, but he's a rookie. He hasn't really established himself just yet in the NHL, and he's already on the cover of a video game. So hey, man, that's pretty fucking cool. I'd be pretty proud, I guess, if that happened to me. Why would they put me on the cover of a video game? I have absolutely no idea. But since we're on the topic of Hughes, a Hughes brother plays for the Vancouver Canucks. Let's talk about the Vancouver Canucks and what we could potentially be looking forward to for this season with the Canucks, because last year was a ton of fun for them. The Canucks have had a horrible, just disastrous history, man. There's been so much heartbreak with Vancouver, so many ups and downs, and the ups never seem to last all that long. And hopefully with the way that this team is built right now, oh my goodness, excuse me, hopefully Vancouver can find some sustained success for more than like 2 or 3 years. That would be really cool. So in terms of cap space, they got absolutely no cap space. Got $190,000 available to them right now. In terms of draft picks, they're okay. They have all their first rounds available to them. The only things they're missing is a third in 25 and 26. They don't have a second in 27, and they don't have a seventh in 26, but they do have extra fourths in 25 and 27. So pretty balanced out. Whatever they lost, they've recouped in other areas. They still have a majority of their big picks in play, so they can use those this season as needed, or just hang on to them and draft young people, which is always a good idea. So this team last season, they had a full coaching year under Rick Tocchet. There it is, almost lost his name, and that was very successful for them. A lot of players had excellent seasons. I'm looking at you, Brock Besser, who finally got that 30-goal season. So happy for him. But in terms of how they performed last year, they were first in the Pacific, which is very impressive. That's a pretty loaded up division. They were 50, 23, and 9, 6th place in goals for, 5th place in goals against, 12th place power play, and 17th place penalty kill. So where that penalty kill number drops a bit, I would imagine that's because of the Demko injury. Thatcher Demko did not play a full healthy season last year for the Canucks. Let's just see how many... Oh, God, the freak of this website, apps, Sportsnet, your website sucks. Like, it just reloads everything all the time, and I gotta set everything back up. But Demko got into 51 games, 35 wins, which is pretty damn impressive right there. A .918 save percentage and a .245 goals against. Absolutely outstanding numbers for Thatcher Demko. The big question mark is, will Demko be starting the season with the Canucks? There's like tons of speculation of what's going on. Is he healthy? Is he going to start the season? And yeah, there's a lot of Vancouver fans are very speculative of Thatcher Demko's health right now. And I mean, they did fine with their backup goaltenders. I mean, Artur Silovs could break out, be a really important goaltender for them this season. And do they still have... I don't think they brought back Casey DeSmith. Casey DeSmith did a very nice job for them, or a solid enough job. He had an .895 save percentage, which isn't excellent in 29 games. Artur Silovs got into 4 games last season, won 3 of them, but we remember his awesome run in the playoffs where he was playing out of his mind. It didn't even seem like Thatcher Demko not playing was all that bad. I mean, Artur Silovs went in, he was outstanding. So it looks like they're going to go with Artur Silovs and Thatcher Demko as the 1-2 combo. I mean, nothing wrong with that. Health is going to play a major role into the success of that goaltending tandem, but if Artur Silovs can play the way that he played in the playoffs, then Vancouver's got a mighty fine goaltending tandem, so that could be pretty good. Now, in terms of contracts and point production and all that great stuff, let's start with the most controversial player on the team right now, and that would probably be Elias Pettersson, who signed his big extension. Of course, on it says it's only for the next 4 years. That's not going to worry about that, but Pettersson is locked in, and for his standards last year, a down season. 34 goals, 55 assists, 89 points. Now, for most players, that's a freaking awesome season, but for Pettersson, who came off of a 100-plus point season the year prior, a little bit down. Not really all that down. It's only 11 points off of 100 points, but I think it's the goals that were upsetting people. He wanted more than 34 goals. I mean, 34 goals, really good. I mean, yeah, you want Pettersson to bounce back this season. I imagine he's 25 years old, one of the best elite forwards in the game right now. He is making a lot of money, so you're going to want him to, for that $11.6 million, you're going to want him back into that 100-point range for sure. You got JT Miller, who absolutely crushed it last year, 37 goals, 66 assists, 103 points in 81 games, and he's on a fantastic contract. $8 million for a 100-point player. He's 31 years old now, and yes, I know a lot of people rag on his defensive game, but he was actually way, way, way better last season than he has been years prior. Is he still Is he great at two-way defense? Is he still a great? No, he's not great at it, but he's not like the liability that he was, where he would just literally not play defense. He's not that player right now anyway. He wasn't last year, so that really benefited the Vancouver Canucks to have JT Miller absolutely crushing it. And Brock Besser gets the 40-goal season finally. He's been just so many injuries and just stops and starts for poor Brock Besser, but not last season. 81 games, 40 goals, 33 assists, 73 points, and he's on his final year of a $6.65 million contract. Now, honestly, I don't know if he would even get all that much of a raise. Maybe he takes a little bit less. It's going to be very interesting to see what they do with Brock Besser. Is he going to get traded? What's going to happen with Brock Besser? It's a tough one, man. He's 27 years old, so he's probably going to want more money, but I don't know if he's worth much more than 6.65 right now. Just the track record, if he can do it again this year, hits 30-plus goals, then yes, I think it would probably be in their best interest to try and re-sign Brock Besser, but they brought in other guys like Jake DeBrusk. They locked him up for a long extension, $5.5 million for Jake DeBrusk, and this one was eyebrow-raising for me. I was like, why are they bringing in this player for so much money, so many years? He's really been kind of inconsistent, never really found his role in Boston. Like, there were some periods there where he looked excellent, but then he would go invisible, and it was just like, never really kept it consistent. And Vancouver bringing him in, I mean, interesting. We'll see how that one goes down. I'm not very optimistic on that contract right there, but it seems like Vancouver fans are fairly into it, so maybe I'm wrong, but Jake DeBrusk is here. That adds in some a good addition to their top six, middle six right there. They have Connor Garland. He's at about $5 million for the next 2 seasons. And for a little while now, basically ever since they brought him in, it seems like they've been trying to get rid of him. And I'm a huge fan of Connor Garland. I think he's awesome. He's a smaller player, but his work ethic and his aggressiveness is outstanding. Like, he's a little bit of a rat. Like, he likes to get in there. He likes to mouth off with people. I'm a big fan of this player. I think he's awesome, but his point production has been up and down. Like, initially he was supposed to be a top 6 forward for them. Then he comes in. They bring him down. Well, he was doing really good initially. And then I remember they put him down to the third line. And then, his production goes down, and they're like, oh, why is his production going down? It's like, you put him down on the third line. Like, he was doing great on the second line, I thought, anyway. But 82 games, he hit 20 goals and 47 assists. So, he's definitely getting paid maybe a little bit more than he should be. But, I don't know, he was pretty damn effective, I felt like, for them in the playoffs. So, I don't know, you could do worse. They have, who else do we got here in their forwards? We're just talking forwards right now. Dakota Joshua, another player, really had a great season last year. Now, there is some fear with this team that maybe last season everybody just had like career years and maybe the team just overshot last year, just did way better than they should have, and it's going to fall back down to earth this year. With players like Dakota Joshua, he had a really solid season. 63 games, 18 goals, 14 assists, 32 points. But this guy looks like he is going to be an effective power forward who can score, he can hit, he can create space. So hence why they gave him a pretty nice extension. He could become one of those very dominating players, especially in the playoffs. He can use his size. They brought in Danton Heinen for some more depth. I feel like he's been here before, but I might be wrong on that one. But a solid bottom 6 player. Teddy Bluger is here as well. They have P.S. Suter, Kiefer Sherwood, Niels Hoglander. Daniel Sprong got brought in for under $1 million, which is, hey man, I know Sprong doesn't really have a defensive game, but the guy can score. He scores goals. And to get a guy that can score 20 potential goals for you for under $1 million, he could be a great asset if there are injuries. Say Brock Besser goes down, you could slot a Sprong in there, and I think he'd be okay. They also have Niels Amon, Philip DiGiuseppe. Yeah, dude, there is a lot of pretty damn good forwards here on this team. Big fan of this forward group. There's a lot of players that I really enjoy. And I think this team is going to have a fine time at scoring goals. You just got to keep an eye on, see if, I don't know if Brock Besser's going to score 40 again. I don't know, man. It does seem like everything kind of came together really good for Vancouver last season. I hope it happens again. That would be great. Now, in terms of, their offense is great. I like their offensive group. It's deep. It's got a lot going on there. It's really good. In terms of their defense, you got fucking Quinn Hughes, absolute stud on the blue line. This guy had so many freaking points last year. He won the Norris. He had in 82 games, 17 goals, 75 freaking assists, man. That is absolutely sensational. What can you say about Quinn Hughes? Like, this guy absolutely exploded last year. 92 points for a defenseman. Like, he almost cracked 100. 100 points for a defenseman is absolutely insane. I've actually been going through, the hockey guy's been doing the hockey history year by year from like the 30s all the way up until we're in the 90s now, I think. But there was a season where Paul Coffey, the defenseman, scored 48 goals. Like, holy shit. I know Paul Coffey was, like, kind of seen as a forward, but he played defense, and 48 goals for a defenseman's insane. Just wanted to throw that one out there. But Quinn Hughes has officially arrived. He's on a phenomenal contract, $7.85 million for the next 3 seasons. Absolute bargain. One of the best bargains you can find in the league right now. So, yeah, that's doing really, really nicely. They have Philip Hronek, who they did give the extension to, $7.25 million. And, I mean, for a 26-year-old right-handed shot defenseman who puts up a good amount of points, I mean, he had a really hot start and kind of tapered off. But 5 goals, 43 assists, 48 points in 81 games. I mean, that's damn fine, man. And for a right-handed shot, he's a good defenseman. I like Philip Hronek. They have Carson Soucy. I think they brought him in as some extra defensive help. I don't see his name. Oh, wait, no, he was here. He played 40 games last season, so I don't know if he was injured or they brought him in partway through the season. 2 more years at 3.25. They have Tyler Myers. He's still here for $3 million for the next 3 years. He's 34 years old. I mean, he's been okay for Vancouver. Like, if you just take away the contract, that bad contract that he signed all those years ago, he's not that bad. He's not that bad. I mean, Vancouver's been able to use him. He's massive. He is a huge body out there, so he can take up a lot of space, so they're using him. They have Tucker Poolman, who's on injured reserve, Vincent Desharnais, Derek Forbort, and Noah Juleson rounding out their blue line. That's a nice blue line. I mean, outside of Hughes and Hronek, the name power definitely falls off a bit. There's some decent defensive defensemen. It could use some work. The Vancouver defense, but hence why they have an excellent goaltending tandem. Should be able to help them out back there. Okay, they have some buyouts here on Oliver Ekman-Larsson and Ilya Mikheyev. I know they have some names that are in their system that could potentially be coming up. We'll see if they can crack the lineup. We're getting close to training camp, so we're going to start getting those answers to see, like, all right, who's staying up, who's staying down, who's making the lineup, who didn't, and all that great stuff. But with Vancouver, the way that they're looking right now, that's a good deep forward group. They have good defense, and if the goaltending stays healthy, they got one of the best goaltending tandems, I would say, in the league. So I see Vancouver as a playoff team. Are they contenders yet? No, I don't think so. That defense just doesn't scream strong enough to me, personally, for them to make a massive, splash in the playoffs. But hey, they did pretty good for themselves last year in the playoffs, so maybe Vancouver can do it again. Let me know. What do you think the Vancouvers are going to be able to pull off this season? Was last year just a flash in the pan, just everything going right at the right time, at the right place, and Vancouver makes it and does quite well in the playoffs as well? We'll see, man. I'm excited to see what Vancouver can do this year. They kind of have a history of doing good, then bad, then good, then bad. So hopefully they can get out of that funk and just stay good, stay competitive, be a good team. They have a great coach right now. Their GM seems to have a head on his shoulders for once in Vancouver, so that's really good. Let me know what you think of the Vancouver Canucks. And I say we keep it going with the Canadian team. I don't know what the hell voice I'm doing right now. I apologize. But let's go to the Winnipeg Jets, and I believe that will be the end of the Canadian teams and all their overviews. So, the Winnipeg Jets. Last season, they finished second in the Central, 15th in goals for, second place in the NHL in goals against. Power play was 22nd, and their penalty kill was 21st. So, kind of a little glaring here, showing that the goaltending a.k.a. Connor Hellebuck, helped the shit out of the Winnipeg Jets to a probably better record than they would have had if they didn't have Connor Hellebuck in net. But regardless, I don't know. It's with Winnipeg right now, it's not so much the regular season success that's been the issue. It's playoff success. They've, last 2 seasons now, first round exits, and going down with kind of a whimper, getting destroyed by Colorado, and then I can't remember who they played last season. It might have been Vancouver, but regardless, it's been the playoffs for the Jets lately that have not been good. But I like this team quite a bit, especially the Pierre-Luc Dubois trade, or the Pierre Dubois trade. I thought they did so good with that trade. So freaking good. So, let's go through the statistics of the team last season. A bit of a down year, honestly, across the board point-wise for some players, especially the bigger names. We'll start with Mark Scheifele, one of the most consistent, if not the most consistent Winnipeg Jet. And he had an odd season the year prior where he scored 40 goals or something. I think it was like 40 goals, but he didn't have a lot of assists, and he wasn't a point-per-game player. And Mark Scheifele is like a perennial point-per-game guy. He's almost always guaranteed for point per game, and he pretty much nailed that last season. 74 games, 72 points, 25 goals, not bad. A pretty standard Mark Scheifele season. You would probably looking for a little bit more offense out of Mark Scheifele at this point here. What's his contract looking like here? $8.5 million it claims for the next 4 seasons, but with Puckpedia, I don't know. It only seems to go up to 4 years. It could be more, could be less, I imagine it can only be more, but 8.5 for a guy that's around a point per game player. He is 31 now, so he is getting up there. I wouldn't expect his offense to drop off just yet, but keep an eye on that. Mark Scheifele, though, should be good for a point per game this season as well. They have Josh Morrissey, who followed up a very nice season the year prior with another one. 81 games played, 69 points, nice, 10 goals, 59 assists. And shit, my bad. I try to keep the forwards and defense separate, but fuck it. We're here on frickin' Josh Morrissey. $6.25 million contract for the next 4+ seasons. Outstanding. 0 complaints right there with Josh Morrissey. Probably at this point, one of the more underrated, underappreciated defensemen. I know I'm not going to say he had a bad rap prior, but he wasn't he's the best two-way defenseman. Now he's one of the better defensemen in the league. He is quite good. Oh, buddy, here we go. My boy, Kyle Connor, my favorite Winnipeg Jet by far. I just love this guy. Wears number 81, so you're starting really good if you're wearing number 81. I'm gonna probably like you. And Kyle Connor is a hell of a goal scorer, though last season wasn't his best goal scoring season. Which I'll let it slide considering he's so freaking awesome all the other times. But he only got into 65 games, so he's gonna want to bounce back with a nice healthy season, but a damn fine season. In 65 games, 34 goals, 27 assists, 61 points. Well on his easy a 45. He could almost crack 50 goals. I would love to see Kyle Connor crack 50 goals this season. That would be outstanding. He is so freaking good on an excellent contract. Only $7.1 million for the next 2 seasons, though. So in 2 years, it's going to get interesting. So he'll be about 29, and he's going to want to get more. $7 million has been a bargain for Kyle Connor. One of the most underrated goal scorers in the league. The guy is so freaking good at scoring goals. We get Cole Perfetti. He had a hell of a run there last season. In 71 games, 19 goals, 19 assists, 38 points. He did drop off, though. He was on fire. Really looked like he has solidified his spot in the top 6 role with the Jets, and then it tapered off a little bit. So Cole Perfetti looking for that full solidified season as just playing very, very good. But really encouraging the play that he was going with last year, looking pretty good. I don't know if they still have Vladimir Namastankinov. We call him Stinky. Oh yeah, he's still on the books here for another year, $2 million. He got 37 points in 78 games last season. Not bad. They had the new guys, so some of the guys that came in through the Dubois trade, Gabriel Velarde. This guy, if he can stay fully healthy, he could be a big deal for the Jets. In 47 games, he had 22 goals. That is very impressive. That's well on his way to a 30-35 goal season in a fully healthy year. So I imagine Jets fans looking for Velarde to have a nice healthy season. That would be sick. Mason Appleton, 36 points. They had Adam Lowry, the captain. A little bit of a down year for him. 81 games, 12 goals, 23 assists, 35 points. You want a little bit more, out of your captain, but he's only making 3.25. It's a hell of a deal. Gabriel Velarde, he is on another one more year for $3.4 million. And if he cracks 30 plus goals this season, he is definitely going to be getting himself a wee bit of a price increase over that 3.4. They have Alex Iafallo. He was the other piece brought in the Pierre-Luc Dubois trade. 82 games, only 27 points. You're definitely going to be looking for more production out of Alex Iafallo, considering he's making $4 million. He's making more money than Velarde, who played half the games. He got more goals. So, yeah, you're looking for a little bit more out of Alex Iafallo, but one more year at $4 million. They don't have Sean Monahan anymore. He's off to Columbus, I believe. So, looking at their forwards here, so who else do we have on the books? They have Morgan Barron, Rasmus Kupari, David Gustafsson, Axel Johnson Fialbi, okay, and Cole Perfetti. So those are all young names right there. 25, 24, 24, 26, and 22 years old, respectively. Cole Perfetti does not have a contract. They still need to sign Cole Perfetti. He is a restricted free agent as of right now. And in terms of their cap space, they have just under $6 million, 5.7. So I think that's safe to say that should be enough to get a Cole Perfetti deal done. I imagine they're looking at a bridge deal right here that would track, unless maybe they would try a 8-year deal, try to get that down to like a $4 million or something like that. That would be really cool. I imagine that would be a great contract in the future. And also not listed here was Nikolai Ehlers, who I don't even know if he got into any games last season, but he's looking for a huge bounce back for this season. He could potentially get traded this year as well. He's on his final year of a $6 million contract. He's 28 years old, and there'd be a ton of interest, and there probably is a ton of interest in Nikolai Ehlers around the league, seeing if he is going to get traded and if he can bounce back from what has been a fairly injury-riddled season or possibly career. Let's take a look here. I know the website is going to reload here at any. There it is. Of course, I knew it. Just as I was going to find his name, they reload the whole entire website. Classic. All right. Oh, wait. Whoa. Hold up. Hold the phone. What the fuck? He did not have an injury-riddled season at all. In fact, he played all 82 games. Get fucked, me. 82 games, 25 goals, 36 assists, 61 points. All right. Not bad. Not bad at all. Pretty good for a $6 million player. 25 goals, though I've seen Nikolai Ehlers capable of more than that. So is he capable of more than 60 plus points this season? We'll find out. It is a contract year, so he could just bust the fuck out, get 30-something goals, and hey, that would be great for the Winnipeg Jets. Other big names on here, I'm not really seeing any more. I think I got them all. I like this forward group. I especially like how deep they are after the PL Dubois trade, adding in Iafallo and Velarde. You got pretty, consistent players here. You kind of know what Mark Scheifele's going to do. Probably a point-per-game guy. You got Kyle Connor, 40-plus goal guy in a fully healthy year. Nikolai Ehlers, 60 points. Nino Niederreiter. I didn't get to talk about fucking Nino. This guy's awesome. $4 million for the next 3 years. He's 31 years old now, so I don't expect the offense to start dropping off just yet. But Nino's been a pretty good fit for the Winnipeg Jets. I like their forward group. It's pretty deep. It's fairly youngish. I don't see anyone over the age of 31 years old on this team, so they're in a good spot right now in terms of where they are as a team. I think they can compete for a playoff spot. Shouldn't be an issue right there as long as their goaltending stays nice and healthy. We'll get there. But first, let's talk about this defense. So this defense, on paper, doesn't really look all that crazy. You got Josh Morrissey, who talked about him. He's the fucking man. Then you got Neil Pionk. Neil Pionk, I really like this guy, especially from a fantasy aspect. I always find that he's a pretty good fantasy option. You can pick him up late, and he generally puts up a decent amount of points, shots, and all that good stuff. Defensively, he's a bit of an adventure from what I can hear, but it looks like he's the Josh Morrissey, Neil Pionk. Is that their top pair? That's the left-right. I don't know if those two play together all the time, but one more year for Neil Pionk at 29 years old, $5.875 million for Neil Pionk. I don't know if he's worth more or less money. I think he's getting paid fairly, you know what I'm saying? I think that's a decent contract. I like him, though. I know there are the people that, there is a lot of shit that gets thrown towards Neil Pionk. And last year wasn't like the craziest season by any means. 5 goals, 28 assists, 33 points in 82 games. I mean, could be better. You got Dylan DeMello, defensive defenseman, $4.9 million for the next 4+ seasons, possibly. He's a solid defenseman, man. 31 points last season. He's classic defensive defenseman. You have Colin Miller, 1.5 for the next 2 years, 31 years old. I can't really think much about Colin Miller. He only played 5 games for the Jets last year. They might have brought him in a trade. I can't remember. They have Dylan Sandberg, Logan Stanley. I think that's the big guy. And Ville Heinola. Will Ville Heinola crack into the lineup in a bigger role finally for this team? His name has been in the system for quite some time. He's 23 years old now, so if it's going to happen, it better happen pretty soon. But honestly, that is not the most appealing defensive core right there. Like, it's solid. You have a borderline superstar in Josh Morrissey on defense, but then everything else is like kind of lower end, top 4, top 6 kind of players. But yeah, it's an okay defensive core, but what shines is the goaltending. Connor Hellebuck, absolutely ridiculous season last year. I believe he won himself a Vezina trophy with that season that he had himself. He was absolutely sensational. I will just pull up his stats. Of course, everything got reloaded. 60 games, 37 wins, a .239 goals against average, and a .921 save percentage to go along with that. Absolutely sensational. Can he keep that up? I mean, he's only 31, so I can't see why not. Connor Hellebuck has earned himself an $8.5 million contract because he's one of the best. He is most certainly one of the best in the regular season. He needs to be able to find his regular season game in the playoffs. He just hasn't been able to bring that game to the playoffs. That needs to happen this year for Connor Hellebuck, and that's, for the Jets. There's definitely that look on the team right now where it's like, all right, if you have regular season success, great, but they need to make a dent in the playoffs. They no longer have Laurent Brossoit, but they brought back Eric Comrie, and I'm amped for the Winnipeg Jets to bring him back because I might be mixing him up again. Am I? Maybe. Anyway, I feel like Eric Comrie's been in Winnipeg before. That's cool. And they also have Capo Kakinen. Not a bad backup right there. That is a nice 3-piece in net. If Connor Hellebuck goes down for a week or two, you should be in good enough hands with Kakinen and Comrie in net. So that's pretty good. A great goaltender right there, if not one of the best ones in the league. I believe he won the Vezina. So the reigning, I farted a little bit. I hope you can hear that. But the reigning best goaltender in the regular season right there with the Winnipeg Jets. I expect this team to be competitive, to be battling for a playoff spot. Absolutely. They definitely could use some help on defense. It wouldn't be a bad idea to maybe add someone back there. But again, it's not bad. It's just, I don't know, maybe name value doesn't really stand out very much. And in terms of value, I didn't talk about the draft picks that the Winnipeg Jets have. So they don't have a second in 25, and they don't have a fourth in 25. They don't have a fourth in 26 either. Other than that, they got everything. No extras. They have what they have. So pretty decent. They have things available to them. They could potentially make a trade. Like, is there a trade that involves Ehlers where they can bring back a decent defenseman? That might be a move that they could look into. But as long as they have Connor Hellebuck back there, I mean, the goals against are going to be pretty good. They were the second best in the league. And I don't see the second best defense in the league right here on paper. So, yeah, Hellebuyck has been doing a lot of work. Hopefully he doesn't get overworked. That might be a problem. Maybe he runs out of gas by the time he gets to the playoffs and they just, that's it. If they don't have Hellebuyck doing the Hellebuyck thing back there, the Jets don't really stand much of a chance. But, yeah, with that being said, as long as Hellebuyck is healthy, I expect the Jets to be back into the playoffs again, but obviously the big thing now is they got to get out of that first round. They got to make a dent. They're starting to get themselves, I know they're not in the Leaf territory yet where it's just fucking embarrassing, but like if they get dominated in the first round again this season, heads may roll. It may be bad. It may be a bad situation for the Winnipeg Jets, but let me know, where do you think the Winnipeg Jets fall into, what place they fall into in the league this season? I think they're a good team. And, well, I guess since we just did 2 Western teams in a row, let's go over to the East. And for no reason, I'm just going to randomly pick the Tampa Bay Lightning. Let's go and talk about Tampa Bay, who definitely made some huge waves in the offseason, getting rid of their captain, not re-signing Stamkos. He's off to Nashville. We already talked about Nashville, of course. But let's see, is Tampa Bay going to rebound? Is this team going to compete for a Stanley Cup again? Let's talk about them. So last season, they were 5th in the league for goals for. They were, 4th in the Atlantic, 45, 29, and 8 record. Pretty damn good record. Goals against, they were 23rd. So yeah, there was definitely a goaltending issue last season for the Tampa Bay Lightning, which is kind of crazy to say. We'll get there. Power play was 1st, and their penalty kill was 5th. So it's a very strong team, and if they had a fully healthy Vasilevsky at the beginning, this team could have won a fucking President's Trophy. I mean, who knows? So, in terms of their statistics, we have that pulled up. Let's get their cap-friendly pulled up. Interesting situation going on with their draft picks and their salary cap. They have no salary cap, which is a pretty standard situation for the Tampa Bay Lightning. They're nothing normal here. They're actually not over it, which is cool. In terms of draft picks, very interesting. So no first round this season. They have an extra 2nd. They have an extra 4th. They have 3 extra 7ths. They have 4 7th round picks this season for, I don't know what they're going to do with all those. They don't have a 3rd round pick, so they might be able to recoup some assets. 2026, they got everything. 27, they don't have a 5th. So, pretty standard. Tampa Bay not having first-round picks to play with. Pretty standard situation. I hope that's not the first-round pick. How many first-round picks did they trade away for Jeannot? I mean, anyway, we're not going to talk about that right now. Okay, so what else what the hell else what am I even doing right now? I don't even know. All right, in terms of their statistics, let's take a look at those statistics. We know Nikita Kucherov had himself a fucking insane season. Holy crap, Sportsnet, you got to get this website figured out, y'all. This shit is ridiculous. Absolute ridiculous. All right, in terms of the forwards, you got Nikita Kucherov, 81 games, 44 goals, 100 assists. 100 assists. I cannot tell you how insane that is to have 100 assists. 144 points for Nikita Kucherov, and the next closest person had 90 points. So hence why Nikita Kucherov was all up in that Hart voting situation last year. He was outstanding for the Tampa Bay Lightning. So looking for Nikita Kucherov to not bounce back, but I don't know if he's going to replicate 144 points, 100 assists, but I'm expecting, a fully healthy Nikita Kucherov to easily crack over 100 points. That should be safe to say. In 81 games, he had 144. Absolutely fucking bananas. You got Braden Point, 81 games, 46 goals, 44 assists, 90 points. I mean, a really nice season following up a 50-goal campaign that he had the year prior. Braden Point is outstanding. And both of these players, Kucherov and Braden Point, making $9.5 million. Obviously, Kucherov's deal is a little bit more of a bargain, but Braden Point, that's a nice fucking deal right there as well. And then they got the new guy over here. He may be, I don't know how popular he's going to be with the fan base considering he is Stamkos' replacement, but hey, it's not his fault. But 29 years old, $9 million for Jake Gensel, and this guy's been one of the more consistent point producers in the league. He's been outstanding with Pittsburgh. He had a great little run with Carolina, and if he can bring that over to Tampa Bay, which at this point I'm very confident he's going to be able to do that, This guy's going to be outstanding. Playing with Kucherov and shit, bro. I think he might play with Kucherov. I don't know where they're going to put him, but oh my God. If it's like going to be a Braden Point, Kucherov, Gensel line, that's going to be one of the nastiest lines in the entire league. That's going to be horrific. But Jake Gensel, I don't have his stats from last season here, but he had a great season. Brandon Hagel. I really like Brandon Hagel. He's making good money now, $6.5 million for the next 4+ seasons. 82 games, 26 goals, 49 assists, 75 points. God damn. This guy could have been a Toronto Maple Leaf, and he is outstanding. That's a very nice contract. Not only does he bring good offense, this guy's physical, he's aggressive, he's a great player. Really like him. They have Anthony Cirelli. He's making good money now, 6.25. Might be a little expensive. 79 games, 20 goals, 25 assists, 45 points. But Anthony Cirelli is also outstanding defensively. So his defensive game brings up that salary cap a little bit. I still think it's a little bit too pricey, but he is awesome. They have Nick Paul, another fantastic player for them. $3.15 million for the next 4+ years. Is a great contract for Nick Paul. 24 goals, 22 assists, 46 points. There's a couple of glaring minuses on the team. Stamkos was a big one. He's no longer with the team, so hey, maybe that helps out. Maybe Stamkos was the problem here, folks. Maybe he was the problem. I don't know. They have Connor Sherry here. They brought in Cam Atkinson for some depth. He is 35, so, temper your expectations. He may not be amazing, but he could be a great addition. They have Gergensons. Whoa, when the hell did he sign? They have signed for 3 more years. Okay, that's pretty cute. Luke Clendenning, I always liked him. He's 35 now, but a decent defensive forward. Michael Asimont, Mitchell Chaffee, Jesse Yolonen. All these guys are probably going to end up being superstars because, all these guys that you've never heard of in Tampa Bay always end up being outstanding. They did not qualify Logan Brown, so it doesn't look like he will be coming back. This is a outstanding forward core. That top 6 is absolutely fucking ridiculous. And for some reason, Tampa Bay always is able to find that depth throughout their system, so I'm expecting, they're going to have a fine bottom 6 as well. Defense, you got Victor Hedman, my favorite defenseman in the league. I love this guy, and he took just a little bit of a pay increase. This guy is the best. 33 years old, making just under $8 million. Then he'll be going to $8 million after that. He's more than likely going to be the captain if he's not already the captain of this team. He is the straw that stirs the drink, I feel like, in Tampa Bay. He's the most important player. When Victor Hedman's not in the lineup, the Tampa Bay Lightning crumble. And Hedman had an outstanding season last year. He kind of had an off one the year prior, but he bounced back strong last year. 78 games, 76 assists, 13 goals, 63 assists. This guy's a perennial Norris contender. He probably won't ever win one again at this point in his career, and just some of the other defensemen that are currently running around out there, Makar and Hughes and all these fucking psychopaths. But Hedman, still an amazing defenseman. He's probably going to be an amazing defenseman for another 4 years. I can still see him being at the top of his game. He's awesome. They brought back Ryan McDonagh in an interesting situation, trading out Sergachev. Sergachev is gone. He is off to, Seattle now? Or he went off to Utah, I think. But bringing back Ryan McDonagh, this guy is an elite defensive defenseman. Still decent. He has a decent... he can put up some points, but that's not really what he's about. $6.75 million. He's 35 years old now. That's where, the question mark comes up. Is he going to be able to hold it together at his age? The defensive game that he's played, it's not an easy game. Hopefully this gamble works out. I like Ryan McDonagh. I've wanted the Leafs to pick him up for years. I think he would be a perfect addition. But, hey, man, Tampa's had him before. They know what they got in this player. And let's see if it pays off for him. It's going to be very interesting. Eric Cernak, he's another guy that's from those Stanley Cup runs, earned himself a nice contract, 5.2 for the next 4+ years. 27 years old, very nice defenseman. This guy I don't really know too much about. Yanis. Oh, that's okay. JJ Moser. Okay, there it is. Gotcha. JJ Moser. He was brought in the Sergachev deal, so he got an extension, 3.375. We'll see if he can live up to that. He's 24 years old. So far, so good. He looked good in Utah, Seattle when he was over there. Now he's going to have a little bit more talent surrounding him. This could be good for the Tampa Bay Lightning. We'll see if he busts out. They have that Nicholas Perbix, Darren Radish, Emil Lilleberg. Yeah, all those guys rounding out the defense. Honestly, it's not the craziest top four. Hedman and McDonough, they're aging a little bit. Cernak is a good top four defenseman, and we'll see if J.J. Moser is going to be able to slot into that top four role for the Tampa Bay Lightning. But regardless, they have some hella veteran defense right there in Hedman and McDonough. As long as they stay healthy, I think everything should be okay. Hedman's going to be playing big minutes in all situations. Ryan McDonough is going to be dominating on that on that power play, or the penalty kill. My apologies, and they could use a little bit of help back there. So that's good. I like that. That's a good defensive core right there. Then of course the big question mark, I guess now is Vasilevsky going to be able to get back to the Vasilevsky that we all know and love? Definitely had an off year last season. Maybe he came back a little bit too early from injury, and that probably hurt his season overall. Just rushing things a little bit. It happens, but I'll just try and pull up his stats as oh my god, this freaking website is insane. All right, here we go. Where are you, Vasilevsky? All the way at the top. 52 games. He's still got to play quite a few games, concerning he missed like the first month and a half or something of the year. 30 wins, but he got to a 900 save percentage, so a 900 is okay in this league, but for Vasilevsky standard, that is way below his normal numbers. A 290 save percentage on top of that. So yeah, looking for Vasilevsky to bounce back. Safe to say that he should. He's 30 years old, and he's still one of the best in the league. They have, to back him up, they have Jonas Johansson, or Johansson, whatever the fuck. He was okay, he did what he could in what he could. It's a hell of a task to take over for Vasilevsky while he's gone on injury. I thought he did okay. And they have Matt Tompkins. I don't know if he is actually signed. I don't see him here, but when you have Vasilevsky in net, you know that you're probably going to be damn good. He's one of the best. It's a damn good team, man. It's a damn good team. That forward group is ridiculous. Defense is good, not great, but with Victor Hedman back there, he's, a top 10 defenseman in the league, top 10 goalie back there, top 5 goalie arguably, and probably a top 5, top 6 forward group right here. This forward group is insane. I'm expecting a better defensive play overall from the Tampa Bay Lightning. I'm not saying that Stamkos was detrimental to their defense. Maybe he was. He was a glaring minus on the team, so maybe they're going to rally, get the defensive game rolling a little bit better, and yeah, I think Tampa Bay safely should be a playoff team, and who knows, once they get into that playoff, man, who knows what this Tampa Bay team, lots of veterans on this team that have won some Stanley Cups. Yes, they don't have Stamkos, but it's not like he was the biggest, part of those Stanley Cup wins. Emotionally, leadership-wise, yes, absolutely. But he didn't always play all those games. So, yeah, I think Tampa Bay is going to be a playoff team. Are they contenders? I don't know if I put them in that contender spot necessarily just yet. They could make some moves. I mean, not really, because they have no cap space, but it's going to be interesting, man. I don't know if they have enough to get another Stanley Cup, but they're definitely a damn good team still. They're a damn fine team, and they're going to do some damage this season for sure. Let me know. What do you think the Tampa Bay Lightning are going to get done this season? And fuck it. Let's do another one since we're talking about Sergachev. Let's go to his team, the new Utah Hockey Club, which were the Arizona Coyotes last season. Let's see what this team's got cooking. So last year, as the Arizona Coyotes, they were 16th in goals for, 25th in goals against, 15th in power play, 25th in penalty kill. They had a 36-41-5 record, 7th in the Central. And I feel like things are going to be different, at least atmosphere-wise overall. I mean, there won't be that looming cloud of like, what the fuck is going to happen with this team? Why are we playing in a building with fucking 5,000 fans in it? Like, what the hell is going on with ownership and all of this crap? That is finally over with. They're off the Utah to a nice building that's ready for them, and fans that are so happy to have them over there. So that is going to be a huge morale boost overall for Arizona. That should be alone like 5 extra wins for the team. Just in morale boost alone, we're going to be getting some extra wins for the, I almost called them the Zona, but that's not right, for Utah. So, who led the team last season for them? It's going to be Clayton Keller, because that's the fucking homie. That's the man right there. In terms of cap space for this team, they're doing good. They have $9.9 million available to them right now, so they definitely could make a splash or two if they wanted to. They have an insane amount of draft capital. They have an extra 3rd-round pick this season, along with everything else except a 7th. 2026, they have 2 extra seconds, an extra 3rd, so they got a whole bunch of extras there. 27, they have an extra 4th and a 5th. So there's a lot of picks that they could play with if they want to do a trade, if they want to do something there. They can absolutely do that. And maybe at the draft, they could move up. They could do a lot of things with all those extra draft picks, of course. So in terms of their salary cap, we're looking at the forwards here. Clayton Keller, my goodness, what an outstanding contract for this guy. 26 years old, $7.15 million for this guy. I can see Clayton Keller at some point cracking 100 points. He got to 76 last season. I mean, not crazy, not 100 points. Definitely not 100 points. I see that. But Clayton Keller is incredibly talented. He is an awesome player. 33 goals, 43 assists last season on, not a very awesome team. But he has a good running mate in Nick Schmaltz, another super underrated player. 79 games, 22 goals, 39 assists, 61 points. I think Nick Schmaltz is an awesome player. Really big fan of his. And he's on a good contract as well. Only paying him $5.85 million for the next 2 years. It's a good contract. That's nice right there. They have Lawson Krause. He's on a contract for the next $4.3 million for the next 3 seasons. I like Lawson Krause. A decent season for him last year for a power forward. 23 goals, 19 assists, 42 points. Want a little bit more production out of him. That would be good. If he can crack that 30 goal mark, that would be outstanding for him. That'd be a good mark for him to get to. They have Alexander Kerfoot. He's been all right. Final year of his $3.5 million contract. I remember him having ridiculous flurries of offense last year. Very up and down player, but he would randomly explode for 4 assists and then 3 points the next game and then go quiet for 2 weeks. It's all right, Alex, we need a little bit more consistency out of you. That would be awesome. They have a Matthias Maccelli. I really like this player as well. He was really good for them last season. 82 games, 57 points, 17 goals. If he can continue to build on that, he is 23, so he's kind of getting to where he is, but 3.425 for the next 2 years. Really nice contract. They have Barrett Hayden. So Barrett Hayden, he needs to, I believe he was rather injured last season. Let's just see if I can find his name. Oh boy, there's so many freaking names. Barrett, where are you, Hayden? Holy fuck, where is he? I can't find him. Did he just not? Oh, there he is. 33 games. There you are. 33 games, only got 10 points. So yeah, kind of a disaster season for Barrett Hayden. And which sucks because the year prior, he was on a line with Keller and Schmaltz, and those three they were one of the best lines in the back half of that season. He looked outstanding, and it kind of looked like he lost that. Hopefully he can get back in that line and make it work. That would be really awesome. All right, who else do we got here? You got Nick Butstad. He's pretty solid. Kevin Stenlin, Jack McBain, Liam O'Brien. There's their tough guy. And then we get the young kids, baby. Logan Cooley, who had himself a nice start to his NHL career. 81 games, 23 goals. Wait, I'm looking at the wrong guy. 82 games, 20 goals, 24 assists, 44 points. Nice start for the young man. I imagine he's going to, let's say he gets into the 60-point range. Some people are expecting him to jump right up into that point per game this season as well. So this is the fun. That's the fun of the young kids, man. You get it. It's what are they gonna do? Logan Cooley, highly talented forward. Lots of potential right here. It's gonna be a very exciting season to see what Logan Cooley can do. I don't think he's in any danger of a sophomore slump. I think he should be fine. I think he's going to add on quite nicely to what was a solid season last year. You have Josh Doan. I like this guy a lot. Shane Doan's son, he came in, he had some pretty fun games for Arizona last year. I don't really know what the ceiling is going to be with Josh Doan. Some people say, like, maybe a top 6. I don't really know, man. There's a whole bunch of varying opinions on this player. Dylan Guenther, though, pretty consistent that this guy rules, and he is an awesome player, and he should be looking to have himself a nice season as well. Let's see if I can find his name. Dylan Guenther. I don't know if he even played in the NHL last. Oh, there he is. He got into 45 games, and he had himself 35 points, 18 goals, 17 assists. Very, very nice. I believe he was injured, so you got to stay nice and healthy. Dylan Guenther in a full season of Guenther and Logan Cooley in a whole new arena and a whole new atmosphere. Oh, baby, this could be some fun stuff for some of the young players in Utah. A lot of cool shit going on right there. And they have Michael Carcone, who is still making only $775,000, and he had himself a nice little season, did he not? Michael Carcone, he had 21 goals in 74 games, so it does kind of seem like a bit of an anomaly in his career. He's 28 years old, didn't really have that kind of offense prior, so hey, if he's found a home where he can score 20 goals consistently in Utah, let's fucking do this shit. Let's fucking do this shit. He is going to be determined to play for another contract. Absolutely. I don't think he's in any danger of not getting that contract. Now, it is not the most amazing offensive group right here. Absolutely not. It is not. But there's some really good players here. Definitely some underrated players. And like I said, that morale boost could be huge for a lot of these players. I'm looking at Clayton Keller. I think he's going to have an outstanding season. So keep your eye on the Utah Hockey Club. Defensively, we talked about Sergachev, a huge ad. He is the man now for Utah's defensive group. That's the guy. He's number one. He'll be running all the whatevers. He's going to be number one this, number one that, all the big minutes. 26 years old, $8.5 million. This guy's awesome. He did have a bit of a wonky season last year. He's going to be looking to bounce back, but I think, again, nice new atmosphere, and now you don't have to, be behind Victor Hedman anymore. Like, you're the fucking guy. So I think Mikhail Sergachev is going to flourish. They have Sean Durzi making $6 million for the next 4+ years. He's not great defensively, but he's pretty damn good power play quarterback, so I like Sean Durzi, former Toronto Maple Leaf. John Marino, he's a solid little two-way defenseman, pretty good defensively, 27 years old, 4.4 for the next 3 seasons, not bad. Ian Cole for one more year, 35 years old for $3 million, veteran defenseman. Juuso Valimaki, Michael Kessering, and Vladislav Kola-Chanuk, something like that. Younger defensemen right here, 25, 24, and 23 years old. We'll see if these guys can grab onto a bit of a bigger role. Juuso Valimaki, he's been around for a bit. He kind of is what he is, kind of a top 6 defenseman. And then goaltending. What defense? It's an okay defense. It's definitely adding in Sergachev. That was a massive add. And again, they can add in a lot more things. Give them some time. This team's going to start cooking soon, man. Just wait. And in net, they have Karl Vejmelka and Connor Ingram. Ingram had an outstanding season. Was fucking around, getting his name tossed around in the Vezina conversation at times. 50 games played last year, 23, 21-3 record, a 291 goals against, and a 907 save percentage. Considering the team that he played for, those are fantastic numbers. Fantastic numbers. Karl Vejmelka, not so much. 895 save percentage, 3.35 goals against. How many more years does he have? One more year at 2.725. I don't think he'll get traded at this point anymore. If it's going to happen, it'll happen this season on his final year. But Connor Ingram at 1.95 for the next 2 years. If he keeps playing like he did last year, that's one of the better goaltending contracts in the entire league. But it's not a guarantee that Connor Ingram is going to do what he did last season again this year. Overall, I don't think Utah is ready just yet for a playoff run, but this is an up-and-coming team, man. They got young players coming up. They have some pretty damn good foundational pieces in Clayton Keller, Nick Schmaltz, and stuff like that. They got the big new defenseman in Mikhail Sergachev, and we'll see what happens with their goaltender. Just yet, not just yet. I don't think they're there yet, but give them another couple of years with the salary cap. They got all these extra draft picks, finally some new management. Hopefully this team is going to be quickly on the rise. They have a lot of great assets that they can utilize at their disposal. So yeah, don't think it's going to happen for Utah this season unless something magical happens. Something magical could happen, with this, if the new fan base can push them to a playoff spot, that would be such a fun story. I don't think it's going to happen, but if it does, I will not be pissed. So let me know. What do you think Utah's going to get done in their first season in the NHL? I think they're going to be a really fun team. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch yourself a Utah game with the crowd going nuts. And yeah, man, there's some players here to watch out for in Logan Cooley and Dylan Genther. Watch out for this team, man. They're not the Arizona Coyotes no more. They're the Utah Hockey Club. And honestly, I kind of like that name. I like the Utah Hockey Club. Sounds, I don't know, just like old school, classic, just prestigious. I don't know. It sounds great. I do like the name. But I wouldn't mind the Utah Kraken, or not the Kraken, the Utah Yeti. I kind of like that name as well. Let me know, what do you think the Utah Hockey Club is going to end up being named? That is a big one out there. I don't hate the Utah Hockey Club. Sounds pretty good to me. All right, so that'll do it for today's episode. Thank you, everybody, so much for listening. If I haven't done your favorite team yet, there's not many teams left that I haven't done. I feel like there's only about 10 or so left to do. I have not done the Toronto Maple Leafs yet. Maybe I'm saving that one for last. We'll see. I don't know what's going to happen right there. But regardless, let me know if there is a team that I haven't done yet and you want me to do it now. Well, I won't do it now, but I'll do it next time, okay? So send them out there. Let me know what team you want me to cover, and we'll cover them. Outside of that, in terms of what we got going on for the podcast this week, I think I have an episode that I want to do for the GamerCast, mystery video game that I talked about last week. The game ended up being shorter than I expected, and I'm not 100% sure if it has enough meat on the bone for an episode. I will play with it. If not, there will absolutely be something. There's another game that I'm playing with right now that's definitely going to be getting itself an episode, so I'm cooking with that. Almost done that game as well. So yeah, there'll definitely be something for y'all for the GamerCast this week. And the WrestleCast, you can go back and check out the big AEW All-In Wembley review, their massive pay-per-view at Wembley Stadium. I let you know all the matches, how they did, rate everything, and let you know if it was worth your time, your roughly 4 hours of time to watch the show. So go check out that review. No pay-per-views, I don't think, this week. I don't think there's anything for the WWE, so we're in the clear. Just going to have your regular wrestling recap show where I do the AEW and WWE. You know the drill. So there you go, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. You the best. You want to be even more the best, make sure you're hitting that review button, liking the podcast, share it with a friend or two if you think they might like it. That would be fantastic. In terms of what else we got, there is a YouTube channel where I upload all these videos to the YouTube channel, Gamer GX Videos. You can go subscribe over there. Great place if you have a question that you would like answered on the podcast. Drop a comment on the YouTube channel, and I will shout your name out, answer your question, and all that great stuff. There's a Twitter page as well where I put up announcements as best as I can. And there's an email address if you just want to have a private conversation. My door is open for everyone and anyone. There we go, everybody. Thank you one more time for listening. We'll be back again with some GX Plus Cast.